Thank you, Speaker. It's a pleasure to be able to rise in the legislature today, and I want to thank first all members of the Oakville public who have joined us here at Queen's Park today and made that drive down the QEW. Wait till you see the drive home. It's a little different than the drive down here usually. I also want to thank my colleagues that have assisted me in the preparation of this bill on all sides of the House. I want to thank the organizers from C4CA who have done so much to bring this attention to the attention of both myself, members of council, members of the provincial legislature, members of the federal government as well, and all those community leaders that have stepped forward on this issue, because it's an issue that I don't think my community ever expected to face. It came as a bit of a shock when an announcement was made in our community, and the people that have responded really well, and I'd like to introduce to the House, is Mayor Rob Burton, the Mayor of Oakville, who's joined us in the East Members Gallery, and a colleague of mine for 18 years on Oakville Town Council, representing the people of the ward and the riding where I'm from in Oakville, Ward 1, Councillor Ralph Robinson. Ralph is with us as well. Speaker, the bill that's before us today, if passed, would do something very simple. It would prohibit the construction of a natural gas power plant unless that facility was located a minimum of 1,500 meters away from any land that is zoned for residential use, any land on which an educational facility is located, a day nursery, or a healthcare facility.
That's a very question.
The proposed bill is intended, though, to allow for the construction of natural gas power plants in safe locations, in communities where they should be. We've moved ahead, I think, in this province as we're looking at the power supply and demand, and we've decided that gas-fired power plants will play a role in the provision of electricity. What we've found as we've moved forward, however, is that the siting of those plants sometimes is not in the best interest of the people in that community.
Hear, hear.
Now, some people have claimed that this plant is a plant for Oakville, that this plant somehow, that because Oakville uses electricity, it should have a plant located very close to it. Oakville's demand is about 90 megawatts. This plant, members should know, is close to 1,000 megawatts.
Wow.
That's larger than most nuclear reactors.
Wow.
That's larger than any nuclear reactor in the province of Ontario that I'm certainly aware of. And the sad fact of the matter is that currently, surprisingly, Ontario does not have any legislation that mandates the separation distances for natural gas power plants from those sensitive uses I've just outlined. We were selected as a result of a process that I can't say I'm entirely proud of for the location of a 945 megawatt natural gas power plant. And that plant currently in the province of Ontario would be allowed to be built on a site where you couldn't put a 3 megawatt wind turbine.
Wow.
There's something absurd about that, Speaker, and there's something that I think all members of the House should be concerned about and something that we should be able to do something about. The plant is 320 meters from the closest school. It's 400 meters from homes. It's 60 meters to the closest business, and it's 7 meters from one of the busiest railroad corridors in all of North America.
That's crazy.
The recent derailment in Pickering, Speaker, those trains came off the track about 200 feet. This application had to go to the Committee of Adjustment to allow it to be located 7.5 meters away from the railroad tracks. Those trains would have gone through this building. You also look at the Middletown explosion, the explosion that happened down in Connecticut. If that had happened in this area, it would have been tragic. You also look at an example we're hearing about today from Shreveport, Louisiana, where the fire chief is petitioning his council to move the fire department because a natural gas power plant was located next to the fire station. If there was an accident at the gas plant, it would blow up the fire department. The fire department wouldn't be able to respond to that. That simply makes no sense. He is urging us to do something about this. There's a number of people that are urging us by quotes to do something about this. I want to read something from the mayor of Middletown, Connecticut. He says, having observed the extensive review process required by the state of Connecticut, the federal government, as well as our own local regulatory commissions, I'd like to encourage you to continue to insist on a careful, transparent, and objective evaluation of all the issues involved in the siting of electric power generating plants. And this is the line I want everyone to pay attention to. We were fortunate in that the Clean plant is located in a very remote and sparsely populated area of Middletown. Christine McGee, you've all heard her on the radio, the president of Sleep Country Canada. She says the proposed bill identifies a gap in current regulations. This is a common sense measure worthy of all party support, somebody from our business community. Dr. Thomas Stewart, Director of Critical Care Medicine, just down the street here, Mount Sinai Hospital, University Health Network. Due to these detrimental health effects, I am supportive of proposed legislation that mandates a 1,500-meter separation distance between gas power plants and residential communities. Former President of Microsoft Canada, Frank Clegg, Mr. Flynn's bill seeks to correct this problem by mandating a 1,500-meter buffer between gas-fired power plants and the communities they serve. And what else I want every other member of this House to pay attention to, he states, so that every community in Ontario will be protected. Jose